Hey, what's up guys, this is Tariq here from smartbiketrainers.com, and let's talk about the Tacx Neo Smart Bike. So I have been using the Tacx Neo Smart Bike for quite a while now, way before we got quarantined and when licking handrails was socially acceptable. Remember that? In this review, I am going to run you through the specs and configuration, the ride feel, power accuracy, and erg mode, and I'll demo the noise in two different ways, so make sure to stick around for that, especially if you live in an apartment. And I'll give you my own thoughts on the bike and who is this bike for. And if you find this video helpful, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button, and also if you have any question, feel free to ask below in the comments section. And just a little spoiler for you, this bike is good, really good. Okay, let's dig into the details of the new Smart Bike. Tacx designed the Neo Smart Bike to create an immersive and a realistic ride experience with integrated interactive fans that can adjust to your speed, power or heart rate, geometry and adjustability to duplicate your road bike or tri-bike configuration and fit. A virtual and customizable drivetrain with smooth realistic shifting, a virtual flywheel controlled by 32 neodymium magnets with disco colors lighting for all of you partygoers. The Neo bike can simulate descents and road surface to experience the feeling on riding on cobblestones and different road patterns. This bike is quiet, accurate, can simulate up to 25% incline and up to 2200 watts. And my favorite feature, and what truly, in my opinion, sets this bike apart from the competition, it is self-powered, and you can have the Neo Smart Bike for $3,199 US. The bike comes in one big box, a very heavy box. In the box you will find a blue box with the manual, actually two manuals just in case you lose that first one. Also you'll find all the tools you need to assemble the bike as well as a power supply. You will find the rear and front legs that you will need to attach to the bike. The bike body itself, which is the heaviest thing in the box, the fans, and another blue box with a water bottle, Tacx bottle cage, and a blue Tacx towel, which is a nice little touch by Tacx. And finally, the front handlebar. The assembly itself was not too difficult. The hardest part about the assembly was taking everything out of the box. Give yourself around 30 to 45 minutes to assemble the bike. Once all parts are tight and secured, the next thing you want to do is adjust the geometry of the bike to ensure a proper fit. In my case, I took my measurement from my road bike and dialed in my fit on the Neo bike, and everything felt good from the first go. There are a few things you can do to customize your bike in the Tacx utility app. Fan settings. The two small fans on the bike can be operated and controlled by your power, speed, heart rate, or fixed speed. With each setting, you have 4 levels: low, medium, high, or off. Display settings, this one only has power display option. You can set it to instant power, average over 3 seconds all the way to 30 seconds. My personal preference with power is always 3 seconds average. Virtual gear, this is where you can customize your gearing and number of gears or speeds. You can have up to 3 front sprockets adjustable between 22 and 53. On the rear cassettes, you can have up to 12 speeds, and teeth per cassette are adjustable between 11 and 40. The shifting on the bike is controlled by a buttons positioned on the brake levers or shifter, just like your road bike. These buttons are rigid and do not provide any type of feedback like you feel when you do shifting on a real bike. The shifting feedback you will actually feel in your pedal, and once you hit the lowest or highest gear and you have nothing left, you will feel a little vibration on the handlebar, and that's just to indicate you have no gears left. It might take you a while to feel for the shifting and get used to them. And since we're talking about the shifting, the bike also has brakes. Yes, brakes to stop the actual flywheel. You can apply the brakes by pulling the brake levers and that will stop the flywheel. And these brakes do not work on Zwift or any app that I know of as of yet. We might see apps utilize this feature in the future. Then there are 2 small blue buttons on the inside of the handlebar. These are here to adjust the incline. The right one will increase the incline and the left one will decrease it up to -5% slope. So they basically work to increase or decrease resistance. Again, these only work if you use the bike on its own without pairing it to any app. The bike has two USB chargers under the main console. The chargers work even when the bike is unplugged. All you need to do is pedal to keep charging your phone or tablet. And since we're talking about the bike's ability to self-power itself, let's talk about what you can and can do when the bike is unplugged from power. When it's unplugged from power, you can still use the bike and everything will work just fine. The road feel simulation, the USB chargers, even the fans work. The flywheel braking and the two slope buttons on the inside will work, and the shifting will work just fine. It will work in erg mode and sim mode, and all shifting will work just fine. The only thing that does not work when unplugged is the descent simulation, and also to upgrade the firmware, you'll need to plug it into power as well. The 4.5-inch display puts all your performance data such as power, speed, cadence, incline, gear ratio, and heart rate right in front of you. The bike will automatically pair to any NT plus heart rate monitor close by. Now, the metrics display changes depending on the type of ride you do. So for example, when the bike is paired to Zwift and you are in sim mode, the bike's display will only show your gear ratio. And that is the same thing, or that is the same case if you use it with any virtual cycling app like RGT or Full Gas, for example. If you do a workout and you have erg mode enabled, the display will go dark and all metrics on the display will go away. If you are in workout mode and turn erg mode off and use level or slope mode, that gear selection will get enabled and you'll be able to adjust your gearing and it will be displayed on the screen. I wish they did not remove some of these metrics. At minimum, I would like to see my power, cadence, and heart rate displayed regardless of which mode I am in or app I am using. The bike has a very good ride feel. If you've ever been on a Neo, it feels very similar but much smoother. And unlike a direct drive trainer with your real bike attached to it, there is no gearing or derailleur adjustment to worry about. It's a very smooth experience. And this is a stationary bike. And just like many other stationary bikes, it's very stiff and can be uncomfortable. I find myself having to get out of the saddle a lot when using it. And things can get a little sore, so stock up on chamois cream and invest in good cycling shorts. As for power, I put a lot of miles on this bike and tested it against my Osceola pedals power meter, and it was just good. As you see here in one of the rides, only 2 watts difference between the two. In erg mode, I like to take a look at how quickly the trainer or the bike responds to changes, as well as how good at keeping me at my target power. I also like to put it through different gearing combination just to see how it affects power distribution as well as any changes in power measurement. As for changes in interval, the bike was quick to make changes, not as quick as a Neo. With the Neo 2T direct drive trainer, it just hit you as you enter each interval and you see these little horns at the beginning of each interval, where the Neo bike took a second or two longer to ramp up to power, so you're not going to see these same horns when you look at the graph, but you still get to your target power within 2 to 3 seconds. Overall, I think it's a much smoother experience with the Neo bike. As for gearing, I could not test how erg mode responds in different gearing combination because the Neo bike disabled gear selection when in erg mode. Interestingly, and contrary to popular recommendation to put the trainer in a small gear, the Neo bike seems to select a bigger gear or simulate a bigger gear. So the speed reported during my 10-minute intervals are equivalent to speeds reported when selecting a big gear with the Neo direct drive trainer. And power distribution, which is another metric I like to look at when in erg mode to see how good and quick the trainer, or a bike in this case, making quick and tiny adjustments to keep me at my target zone and power. That also indicates the bike is selecting a bigger gear. However, the bike was still able to make quick adjustments to keep me at my target power a lot better than a Neo direct drive trainer when selecting a comparable gearing combination. Cadence was very good and spot on, as you see here, nothing really to note. As for noise, the bike is really quiet. The Neo direct drive trainer is the quietest trainer in the market, and the bike is even quieter because you are completely eliminating noise from the drivetrain, and here's how it sounds. And in case you live in an apartment, here is how the noise transmits through a very thin subfloor. Keep in mind, depending on where you live, generally you will have a thicker subfloor than what I have here between the first floor and the basement. You might have double the material I have here, so what I am showing you here is kind of the worst case scenario. Still, even with that, I don't think it's loud at all, and most likely you'll have no noise at all transmitting. However, the fans do produce some vibration, which can be problematic if you live in an apartment, and here's the noise again with the fans on the highest setting. So I think the bike itself is extremely quiet. If the fans bother you or bother some people in the house or your apartment building, you can always turn them off and get a quieter fan. So I won't let the fan steer you away from this from purchasing this bike if noise is a big deal for you. Also, I found that if I have the fan set to heart rate and I leave the bike plugged into power source, it will pick up a random signal from the house that resemble a heart rate, and it will just start running. So I started leaving the bike unplugged from power all the time. Okay, I've never been a fan of stationary bikes. I love riding my own bike. It's comfortable and fits me well. I'm familiar with the gearing, generally like the seat, the bar tape, etc. Stationary bikes will never replace my real bike. However, the new Smart bike was surprisingly a pleasure to ride. The ride feel, virtual gearing, and the quiet ride was way better than expected. It's one of those products that you're not sure if you're going to like it or hate it, and generally I never like stationary bikes, but I was pleasantly surprised at how much I like this bike. The bike combines features of rear road bikes and also the convenience of having a stationary bike, like having a tray for your phone, fans, USB charger, different configurations that you can do. Also a tablet holder, which I really did not use because I have a big screen TV, but that is an option for you if you use a tablet, and it is self-powered. I have been using it since I got it, and honestly I'm not sure I'm going to use my road bike indoor again, unless of course I'm testing another trainer. So if you are looking for something dedicated to indoor training and want to just leave your road bike for outside riding, then this bike is one to consider. If you are a triathlete, you can get aero bars for cheap from Amazon, and I'll have a link to the one I'm using here down in the description, and it will fit just fine. Adjustability is also not as easy to do, so if you plan on using it with another partner or your significant other, you can easily make adjustments using the hex wrench or use the included handles, but it's not as easy as a spin bike that you find at the gym. I personally did not install those handles because I just did not like how they make the bike look, but you have that as an option that will give you an easy and a quick way to make adjustments. Okay, if you are interested in this bike, make sure to check out smartbiketrainers.com price tracker. I usually keep my eyes on all trainer prices and bikes and update the website throughout the year. Okay, that's all I have. I really hope I covered everything for you to help you make a decision. If you have any question, please let me know down in the comment section below, and I will do my best to answer all of your questions. Hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to hit the like button, and if you are still watching and have not subscribed yet, then you know what to do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.